would you like to improve your health and keep your family safe? You're listening to the Healthy Home Hacks Podcast, where we firmly believe enjoying optimal health shouldn't be a luxury. Healthy Home Authorities and husband and wife team Ron and Lisa will help you create a home environment that will level up your health. It's time to hear from the experts. Listen in on honest conversations and gain the best tips and advice. If you're ready to dive in and improve your well-being and increase your energy, you're in the right place. All right, here are your hosts, biobiologists, authors, media darlings, vicarious vegans, and avocado aficionados, Ron and Lisa Brice.
Friends, we've discussed wireless radiation on this show numerous times. If you head back to past episodes, including the many health implications that link cell phone use to headaches, tinnitus, tumors, sperm damage, electromagnetic hypersensitivity, heart irregularities, and damage to the developing brain. But today, we're diving in deeper to something called tech toxins. From screen time and tech addiction to the dangers of blue light exposure and online privacy with our special guest, August Brice.
August Brice is the founder of Tech Wellness, an information and solution-focused site launched in 2018 that empowers visitors to be healthier, safer, more secure, and balanced with their relationship in regards to digital technology. August is an award-winning investigative journalist who attended the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, winning an Emmy, Golden Mike, and Gabriel Award during her broadcast career. Brice brings the skill set and passion for searching out the truth. Her own health journey, a sensitivity to electromagnetic radiation discovered 25 years ago, led her to research the subject extensively and to partner with many of the top EMF experts in the world. She focuses on the honesty and transparency of all the solutions found on her site, exploring technology's effect on the mind, body, and spirit.
Yes, and August is a frequent guest on numerous mental well-being podcasts and has been featured on Mashable, Medium, Voyager, Spirituality and Health, and so much more. August resides, like us, here in Southern California and lives a clean and healthy lifestyle with her low or no electromagnetic radiation around her. Welcome to the show, August.
Welcome.
Oh my goodness, what a fabulous introduction. Thank you so much, Ron and Lisa. And this is particularly a thrill for me because I respect you guys so much. That you're both building biologists, everything that you've done to educate people on toxins and living safe and well. I really, really am thrilled. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. We are so lucky to have you. And we've known about and of each other for so many years. So it's so nice to meet face to face, at least on the computer, yes. At least via Zoom. And yeah, what you're doing is so amazing. And listeners, you're going to absolutely love everything we go over today because August has resources for you. She owns a store, and we're going to get into that, where you actually can get the solution. So we're not just talking about them today. There's actual real tactical solutions for everything that we're going to go through. And I have to divert, August. Walter Cronkite School, that's ASU, right?
That's right.
I went to ASU too. That's why all
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I saw you cheering and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I was doing a little cheerleading in the background. Well, I graduated there in interior design. It's in the School of Architecture, which is right next to the Walter Cronkite School. And I always told Ron that, if I had a different career, I would have chosen that, actually.
It was
journalism.
It was a fabulous education because...
Was it?
Well, we were able to immediately go right into news. Because the campus has a station on it, which is extraordinary. Yes, a PBS station.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and that's where I actually got my first nomination for an Emmy.
Oh, gosh.
I was working there.
Incredible.
Yeah, so you hit the ground running.
You hit the ground running. And then Ron chose, I know I'm diverting, guys. We're going to get to the show in a second. Ron chose the school that Matt Lauer went to, right, Ron? Which was...
Period of time I did. Ohio University, yes. Yeah, and Matt Lauer was...
What's the name of the school there? Oh, the Matt Lauer. Is it called the Matt Lauer School?
His name was in it for certain. I forgot. Matt Lauer, broadcast journalism, something to that effect. Yeah.
Okay.
But I did not graduate there. So I chose a different path as well. But we all met full circle.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed though. We were talking before this started. You said you have more than one Emmy. How many Emmys do you have, August?
Just two.
Just two?
Just two. Okay. Oh, wow.
Such an underachiever, August.
Yes. It's a thrill. And it was really honor. And I still have them. It's something that you never give away.
I bet. That's incredible. Fun fact, guys. Yeah. That is a fun fact.
But here we are, like you said, we all ended up here meeting together and all talking about EMF.
Isn't that funny?
Yes.
Me, interior design. Ron was an economics major. You were in journalism. And here we are all talking about health and wellness for humanity. And it's important now more than ever. Everyone listening, pay attention to today's show. Whether you are a parent or not, we're going to get into the screen addiction and all of that. So this is a really, really important show. And we're so happy to have you. So I know everyone's chomping at the bit. So let's just dive right in. And we've said it many times on this show, but it is worth repeating. Wireless radiation from cell phones and other devices is not only unhealthy, but it can also be downright dangerous. We receive high doses of harmful radiation every single day from numerous sources of exposure. So, August, tell us about yourself and why you started your company, Tech Wellness.
Well, it happened because when I received my very first cell phone, this was over 30 years ago. And I pulled it out of the box and my husband programmed it and he said, hey, call your mom. And the second that I pressed power, I jolted and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And I put it down. And the interesting thing is that just last year, my daughter found this videotape of Christmas and me opening up the cell phone. And she said, Mom, you know how you always say that it was the first time you held a cell phone? Oh my gosh, it really was. And I said, yes, I know, but I didn't know it was on videotape.
Oh, that's really amazing.
Wow.
Yes, I have it on video. And so I didn't know what it was at the time, but of course it was electromagnetic hypersensitivity, but I didn't know that. I don't think anybody knew what that even meant, but it allowed me to have a more distanced relationship with my technology than most people because...
Were you consciously uncoupling from your cell phone?
Exactly. I was. Gwyneth.
I think we all need that with our tech devices.
Really, that's exactly what it was. I love that. I think I'll use that in the future. But it gave me this bird's eye view of what was happening with technology. And I saw people become obsessed with their phones, treating them like another person and not letting them go. And I saw other people having health issues that they probably didn't realize were from the phone.
Yeah.
And so because I had that ability to see it from that perspective, it allowed me to start thinking of solutions of things we could do. And it also allowed me to do research to find out what the heck was going on. First of all, I found these air tube headsets, right?
Yeah.
And that was about 15 years ago. And I thought they were amazing. And then I was speaking to the guy who had the patent on the air tube headphones. And I was telling him about what I had. And he said, you know what? You ought to talk to this guy I know, Dr. George Carlo.
Love Dr. George Carlo.
So George was just kind enough and gracious enough to speak with me on the phone. And I told him about my amazing powers of knowing when the Wi-Fi was on and knowing that the cell phone was on in the other room. And he said, yeah, that's not so amazing. That's actually called electromagnetic hypersensitivity. And it's an issue. He said, you are a canary in the coal mine, but it's not a good thing.
Right.
Your body, your immune system is reacting to it like other people would react to other toxins. And it's not something you're not telepathic. It's something that I'm glad you're aware of, but you actually need to build up your body to resist it.
Oh, okay. So explain to us what that looks like. Say you enter a hotel with a lot of Wi-Fi exposure. What does that feel like for you?
Well, even in my own home, when the Wi-Fi is on, I know it. It's something that my husband and my kids used to laugh about, but they don't laugh anymore because now there is no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Because they knew that, and I'd always switch the Wi-Fi off at night, but if they come home late and switch the Wi-Fi on, I'd pop up. It's sort of like
you really did have eyes in the back of your head.
Yeah.
That wasn't an empty threat.
It's so interesting. And the Wi-Fi affects me like a heaviness. It's this real, incredible, dense headache is what it is. And it's just like it pops me out of bed. It makes me nervous. Well, actually, the Bluetooth causes me anxiety. If I'm near Bluetooth, I get,
right.
And then the cell phone just honestly doesn't affect me as much as the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, but we're all different. We all react differently, but I can feel the phone. And when I feel it, I feel tingling in my hands, numbness, and little shocks. And that's my sensitivity.
Wow.
So that's right. That's how I know.
It's amazing. And it led you to what you do today, which has been a good thing. Someone said, let your pain be your path. I know for me, it was getting sick from toxins in my home is what led me to do what I do. And so you've taken your pain and made it your path and your passion. And for people listening, this electromagnetic hypersensitivity is very common. I mean, as building biologists, we hear about it all the time. And, I wonder how many people have it, but aren't connecting the dots, right?
I think so many, and more are connecting because more and more people are feeling the anxiety that I feel and not knowing that that was actually from their device.
Right.
But back when I spoke with George all those years ago, he said up to 3% of the population probably has it. Mm-hmm. And now if you research, it's anywhere between 7 and 9% of the population.
I believe that. Yeah.
Is estimated to have it. Yeah. And I did go to an EHS global conference a couple of years ago and I interviewed. There were probably 50 people there and I interviewed about 10 people. And it was so interesting to hear that most of them got it from a high dose. So there was a guy, he was only 24 years old. He did everything on his phone. He ran his business on his phone and he slept with his phone and he listened and his phone was just with him all the time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, 2 years earlier, he noticed that his joints hurt and he couldn't walk and he was nervous all the time. And then he went on a trip and was away from everything and realized, oh, it's not there.
Yeah.
And then another guy worked on cell phone towers and installed Wi-Fi's. I know, right? And then another woman who was in her 60s, her early 60s, had a completely normal, fabulous life. And then someone installed a brand new, powerful Wi-Fi and they put it right under her desk. And she said it took about 2 weeks and all of a sudden she had nauseous headaches. Something was really wrong.
Yeah.
Did a ton of diagnostic tests and nothing was wrong. They couldn't figure it out. And then she realized it was the Wi-Fi. But it was a journey.
It's a journey. Yeah. Because people, they go pop their aspirin, their Tylenol. Oh, it's just a headache or not associated with the tech devices. I know when they were putting smart meters in our neighborhood, and I am not electromagnetic hypersensitive, although maybe I am. And I never, ever, ever get headaches. I had this pounding headache. And I found out they had installed the gas smart meters in our neighborhood. And then I proceeded to opt out. And here in California, they'll charge you every month. I have to pay a fee just to not have it. And we have that with our electric meter as well. So you have to pay just to opt out.
$75 to get out.
Yeah. No, I think you have to pay like $75 or something. Right. And then a $10 a month or something.
Yeah. $10 a month. Yeah.
And if you miss the window, you can't get back in. If you miss the window to opt out with the electric meter, you can't opt out again. So it's a problem. And then we've got 5G and we've got more and more technology. So this problem's only going to get worse. So we're going to get into solutions. We're not going to leave you guys feeling
and that's exactly it, Lisa, because everything I saw as I was not embracing the technology like everyone else was, but I was actually. So I do want you to know that I was always on a computer. Okay. I was always wired up. It didn't keep me away from my computer and it still doesn't. I have a wired keyboard, a wired mouse.
Yes.
I have really nothing coming from my computer, but everything I saw was fear driven and it was really confusing. Yeah. And there were so many unproven and not tested fake protection. Yeah. So that's why
we talked about that with the Safe Sleeve founder, Carrie, about the snake oil. A lot of the snake oil, the stickers, a lot of the things that have absolutely zero science behind them. And so this is another whisper for you listeners. If you're going to go invest in devices, go with a reputable company like Tech Wellness, who we're talking to today, or someone that has the science behind the stuff they're selling. Because it's easy to say, oh, this will protect you. But if they don't have lab tests certifying that, it's greenwashing in a different form.
And I feel so bad because people, of course, they hear about it and they want a fix, of course, right? And so I just wanted it to be approachable. Of course, everything's science backed because of my journalism background, honest, and it's all solutions. And that's what people wanted. They kept saying, okay, I believe you. What's the solution?
Yeah. Right. And you offer the solutions.
Yes.
Yeah. It's because many of us are becoming allergic to the 21st century.
Yeah.
Can you explain to us what exactly are what you call tech toxins and what is important that people need to be aware of in regards to them?
Well, tech toxins, just like you were saying, Ron, environmental toxins like pesticides, chemicals, GMOs, all the endocrine disruptors. It's important that we know that our technology comes from hidden sources. There's invisible radiation coming from your cell phone, as we've talked about here. There's the blue light. There's that pulse digital light, those pulses that are affecting our brains, but we can't even interpret them in our eyes. There's also the possibility of addiction, which I consider very toxic.
Yeah.
And other things that can affect your peace of mind, like privacy invaders.
Yeah. Blue light blocking glasses.
Me the blue light. I put on my blue light glasses. I was not wearing.
Ron popped on the end.
We walked the talk.
We walked the talk.
We walked the talk.
Oh my goodness.
I'll have them on. We need to take a screenshot of this. We've all got our blue light blocking glasses on. I love it. Wait, yours are cuter, August. Yours are cuter than mine.
Yes, because I went and curated the cutest ones for sure.
Yes.
Oh,
Style and smarts. Oh my God. I love it. Yeah, that's a good point. I like what you said, Ron. We're becoming allergic to the 21st century. And you mentioned addiction. So let's get into that. I think we can all agree, August, that screen time across the globe is at an all-time high due to the pandemic. So let's talk about tech addiction. Is it real? Are we all addicted? And is there any research behind this?
Oh, there's so much research now. And addictions are real. However, they're not as common as we might believe. How many, you probably even said to each other, oh, you're addicted to that phone, put it down, right?
Yeah.
Or said it to somebody. The mom has probably said it to her kids, her teenager. But honestly, it is addiction by design for sure. Because so many things on our devices are designed to addict us. And the way they do that is we see a bright light, we get a like. We see that we got a text or 5 texts. And all of that releases dopamine in our brains. And that dopamine leaves us wanting more. That's how an addiction is built. And then there comes the impact of cortisol, which a lot of people experience from their stress and anxiety from being away from the phone or from seeing that they're not getting the kind of response that they wanted on social media. That can cause the anxiety. So you put those two things together. And even if you're not addicted, you're not comfortable. We're not as healthy and we're not as peaceful as we could be because of these things that our devices are, of course, designed to be fun, but also they're not really designed for our well-being. They're just not. And so we really have to take responsibility. And I love this recent research where 3 out of 10 adults and half of the people under 29 said, I'm on my phone constantly.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Lisa and I were just talking the other day. We were like, oh my, aren't you glad that part of our life we grew up in really not so much of a tech bubble? We got to kind of experience both. This is the transition of the cell phone, mobile devices, all these devices later in life versus being a child and being subjected to this and never having the experience of not having the technology.
Such a good point. Such a good point, Ron. It's normal, but it's not normal. Right? But all the things that we grew up with is normal. And so, yes, I'm working right now on a book for parents because my very first expert was Dr. Kimberly Young, who actually coined the term internet addiction over 35 years ago. And she really prescribed a digital diet, which was just balance with technology, really what we talk about on Tech Wellness. And she directed all of our blogs. And actually, I have her test, and it is the original internet addiction test, and it's for any kind of device addiction. If you're a shopping addiction. Yes.
So you can take the test. Is there a link on your
our website?
Okay. I'm going to put that in the show notes.
Perfect.
And then
she was ahead of her time. 35 years ago. I was going backwards. When was that? Was that 1980?
It was the late 80s, 90s.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Anyway. And so she went to the American Psychological Association and she introduced the term internet addiction, but it's still not even a diagnostic code yet.
Right.
But it is. For the World Health Organization has a diagnosis for gaming addiction.
Okay.
Which comes from being online.
Right.
So yes, there are addictions, true addictions.
True.
And I work with a man called Dr. Ofer Terrell, and he is a social media scientist. And he has researched, he looks at brain scans of people who display addictive-like qualities. So you look at them and addictive-like qualities are, I can't be away from it for any amount of time. I go to bed thinking about it. I'm not socializing like I should. I'm not eating or taking care of myself like I should because I'd rather be online. So those are addictive-like symptoms.
Right.
But he studied the brains of people who were displaying those symptoms with social media. And it turned out that although just like most addictions, there was less gray matter in the brain. The part of the brain that is the control center was in complete working order, completely intact. And that was different than other addictions.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So in most addictions, as Dr. Terrell explains it, as in most addictions, not only is there less gray matter, sometimes less white matter, but also the control center of the brain just isn't working like it should. And that's why you have to have more. And that's why it is, quote unquote, an addiction that needs to be treated. And so really the point of that research was so wonderful to hear that basically you just need to control it.
Oh, okay. So it's not doom and gloom. You can't overcome that. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great news. I mean, I don't know very many people who aren't addicted. I mean, we all feel those things that you described. We feel angst when we don't have our phone on for too long. We haven't checked something or we haven't connected. And I had read that the person that created the original cell phone created it after a slot machine, that ding that you talked about, that constant reinforcement for it to be addictive on purpose, that was not an accident. And now you see the phones, they don't just light, they make noise, right? So if you're not getting it one way, you're getting it another way, the ding, 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 ding. And
I mean, your attention.
It wants your attention. Sure. And I'm seeing it in every age. Obviously, the little kids, it's really sad because they're growing up with these devices. So that's just so normal for them. Even elderly people, I mean, even older people are constantly on their phones too. I see it. So it's...
Or slot machines, either one.
Or slot machines. Yeah. Take your pick. Yeah. So it's really crazy. So important because this is going to be an epidemic with kids. It's scary to think about the future. And I've done a lot of research on this too, August, with how much it's damaging kids' creativity, the screen time, and their social abilities and their brain development. And a lot of these different things are being affected. So this isn't just, oh, hey, you're being annoying because you're on the phone all the time. We're talking about long-term effects in development that we're going to see later that we haven't even seen yet.
And there's research that correlates the more time online to less gray matter in your brain. That's incredible, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible.
Also, like you were saying, that we've all experienced the stress of being away from our phones. Well, it turns out that the more attached you are to your device, the more stress you have being away from it.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense that we all take a step back whenever we can and just be mindful.
And be mindful and how much better you feel. I find nature to be a great antidote to that kind of, because it's like the opposite, right, of the technology. And taking those digital detoxes or diets, like you said, and seeing how much better you feel. Ron, I remember one time we were in Hawaii for 2 weeks. We came back. I was in kind of, I guess, like a little bit of an altered, relaxed state because you don't have your phone on in Hawaii. You're too busy snorkeling and hiking and doing all these beautiful things. And when we came back, we flew into LAX and I remember just looking around at people thinking, what's wrong with people? Why are they so busy? And Hawaii definitely puts you in a slower Hawaiian time. And you just get into that relaxed state. And I felt like, what's wrong with everybody? Why are they looking at their phone on the way to their Uber or baggage claim? Can't they just put it down for a second? I could see the contrast. We're so immersed in it, we don't see it. But when you take a digital detox and then you come back in, it becomes very obvious how much it's ruling our lives.
Absolutely.
You are so right. And don't you wish that for everyone, that everyone could have that trip that you just talked about and experience what you experienced?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you can think back to that time and put yourself right back in it and say, okay, I need to take a break.
Yeah, for sure. I can feel it all the time. And I have to make myself, Red Nose, I'll go, I'm turning my phone off. And like you, we use all the protective measures and we are completely hardwired home as well. But you're still getting radiation, even for those little moments, little bits of it. So yeah, it's like a conscious, or Ron's talking and I'm not listening because I'm looking at some Instagram or something. And so like being disciplined with that too.
I have my own teenage daughter.
But giving your loved ones full attention is a gift. And yeah, we've lost some loved ones over the past few years. And you're like, I would give anything to have those moments back. And so it's not just about the physical hazards. It's also like, give those people your time and love and attention when you're with them, because you're robbing everybody of that.
Absolutely.
And they actually call it phubbing, but I prefer the term screen snubbing to what you're talking about. It feels like such a snub when you're talking to each other, like you said. You're talking to Ron and he's looking at his phone and you were just having a conversation.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, there's so much emotional pain that has been studied from that.
Oh.
We all know that we've done it to each other.
Yes.
And we think of it as, oh yeah, they understand.
Right.
My phone is very important to me right now.
They know I have another relationship.
Oh, speaking of that, do you know that there's a study that 12% of people admitted to looking at their phone during sex?
What?
I'm not kidding.
Oh, these people need new partners.
I know.
Wow. That's
what
horrible.
Are they even looking at?
Oh, see, right? Because it's also very accepted in society. I mean, I remember the first time I heard the word selfie, I was like, oh my God, how self-indulgent. What a horrible word. This is a big joke. This is going to fly by. Oh no, now it's not only a commonplace word, it's encouraged. It's encouraged to take selfies. And that is the societal norms that have become like, oh, it's totally fine to look at your phone when you're talking to someone or at a restaurant or wherever. And so we've kind of lost our politeness and right.
That's why I like to call it screen snubbing. Because
snapping?
we don't want
word snapping, right?
Snub.
Screen snapping.
Snub. A snub. You know when someone
snub. Oh, snubbing.
Yeah. Snubbing. Oh, screen snub.
Yeah, that rude behavior that you call snub.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
But if you think of phubbing, you're not really sure what that means. So yeah, I think screen snubbing is really the term, and it's just not a nice thing to do to people.
It's just not nice. Stop snubbing, everybody listening. Stop screen snubbing. Don't screen snub your mom or your spouse. Or
spend a day noticing how many people are doing it to you.
Yeah.
And then you'll probably be more aware and have more mindfulness about not doing it to others.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
great.
Yes.
So we're going to switch gears here. We're going to go into physical illness. And the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, they published a systematic review and meta-analysis of a case control research on cell phone use and tumor risk. So in summary, the updated comprehensive meta-analysis of the case control studies found significant evidence linking cellular phone use to increased tumor risk, especially among cell phone users with a usage of more than 1,000 or more hours in their lifetime, which basically that corresponds to about 17 minutes per day over 10 years, especially among studies that employed high quality methods. So August,
yes,
what are a few tips to help us go from addiction to awareness?
Okay, we just talked about this for a moment. Lisa was saying how much she enjoyed being away from her phone on her trip. And if we could do that every single day, and I loved what I hear from a lot of people who talk to me trying this new mindfulness approach, that they wake up in the morning and before they touch their phone, they make sure 30 minutes goes by. Now, to me, that's my normal day. That's easy. That's what I love to do. I like to go for a walk. I like to ground before I look at my phone. But for a lot of people, realize the first thing they do is look at their phone. They're using it as an alarm clock. They're using it as the reason to get up. So if they can just take 30 minutes to really just get into their body, be present, be aware of what's going on, and just like enjoy the morning, enjoy the day. I think that's a great way to start that little bit of distance that once you do it, you might enjoy it so much that maybe in the afternoon, you'll do the same thing. Maybe right before bed, you'll find that, hey, you know what? I sleep better. I feel better when I'm not looking at my phone or a device or the computer right before bed, because not only is there that blue light and then the pulse light that I talked about earlier, but also for a lot of people, the electromagnetic fields that can just mess with their biology, like you were saying, Ron. So if you have that right before bed, obviously it's affecting your melatonin and it's affecting your brain. It's wiring you up, and you don't need to be wired up right before bed.
And then people have insomnia, and then they take their sleep medication, and then it's just an infinite loop. It's just an infinite loop of feeling miserable. I love that, August. We interviewed a guest who talked about meditation and the power of meditation. And she had I think it was her 7-year anniversary of meditating every day. And that was such a whisper and wake up call for me. I'm still a little scattered. It's like I do a day and then I miss a day and then I do a day. So I kind of am trying to create that new habit of every day. And you're right. the morning time, the first moment you wake up, I think is the best time because you aren't rushing to your phone. Because if you rush to your phone, forget it. The meditation isn't going to happen, right? You'll just get pulled into all the tasks. So waking up, giving yourself that silence, that meditation, that space to have your thoughts, to put out your intentions, to create and to really calm your mind. And I notice my days are very different and I know they're better. And yet it's a hard habit to, like any habit, right? You've got to just keep doing it and get back on the wagon. If you fall off, no big deal. Just keep getting up and trying it again. So I love that. I think that's great.
And you know what I love talking about your meditation? I've been meditating for 35 years too. And I have periods where I go in and out. But now, for at least 2 years, I have been meditating daily and sometimes only for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
I used to think I had to meditate for 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And then I just realized, you know what? I can get there. Maybe because I've meditated for so many years, but I can get into that meditative state. I can get into the peace. I can get into my breath in just a minute and a half.
I love that. Wow. See, guys, she said that too. It wasn't the time. Didn't she even say run like 30 seconds? It was just the point that you did it and that you gave yourself. That's a gift that you give yourself. That's self-love.
And you know,
you sound very peaceful, August. You seem very calm.
You do seem calm. And you got these beautiful trees behind you. And it looks so zen.
We're very lucky to be here in California. It's beautiful.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So beautiful.
We have good weather. So you mentioned blue light. And we all had our blue light glasses on a second ago. August still does. So why is...
I put mine back on, Lisa. Put it back on. We'll put it back on.
Let's do it. Why is blue light considered a tech toxin?
Because blue light affects your melatonin production and release. So whenever your body is without blue light for at least a half an hour, I usually recommend 2 hours, your body does what it's supposed to do and it releases melatonin. And melatonin is amazing. The best thing that melatonin does, it's a hormone and it helps you sleep. In fact, it signals your brain that it's time to sleep. And so then your body reacts to your brain and you start getting that nice, lovely, tired feeling. But if you don't have melatonin in your body, it can also be related to inflammation, immune function, even cancer. In fact, I have this one study and a video about it that it even affects your metabolism, and lack of melatonin can actually cause weight gain.
Oh,
so melatonin is a mighty hormone. Yes, give me some melatonin. I actually do not.
We talked about obesogens on a recent podcast. Obesogens are chemicals, man-made chemicals that actually cause you to gain weight, store fat, make your fat cells larger, all these like horrible things. And PFAS, chemicals from nonstick cookware, and all those are an obesogen. And you'd be shocked how many obesogens there are. So that's interesting. A lot of people struggle with weight. And now you're saying even the melatonin. So it's not always the food. It's not always the food you're eating.
Right. I'm going to go back and listen to that episode. I listen to you guys all the time.
The obesogens?
Yes. That's got my name on it.
Yeah.
But
well, you don't need it. You don't need it, but
right. That's fascinating.
It is fascinating. Yeah.
But in addition to the lack of melatonin release, I think also we just have to think about our circadian rhythms. And I just equate, because, you know, there are blue light outside and blue light's in the sky. The same frequency of light is in the sky. And so imagine though, think about this. If for 14 hours you stood outside and looked at the bright blue sky, even if you looked at it for 4 hours, what's that doing to your body? That's releasing so much cortisol, which is awesome. We need a little burst of cortisol to get going. And that's what the blue light does on a grander scale. But constantly, that's not a good thing.
That's not a good thing.
So if we can just think of that and think about the rhythms, think about the rhythm of natural daylight and darkness, and try to pattern our device usage to that exact same rhythm.
Oh, that's a great tip. Follow the sun, when it gets dark. You should be turning off your devices, an hour before you go to bed at least.
What I like to do is starting at sunset, I put on my deep orange glasses and they block about 90% of the blue light. The ones that we all have on now are blocking 35%. Okay. And to me, that's like wearing a nice sunglass outside.
Okay.
No, it's just
a fashion statement.
And it helps. It does help, right? We can layer the blue light. I mean, I believe that every little bit helps because there's probably more that research hasn't told us about the blue light, but we know for sure about the melatonin. So I wear my dark glasses at night when I'm watching TV.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yes,
So you're
darker
very
than
strict.
my orange glasses.
You're
Yes.
orange.
You even see the TV, August.
And actually,
Is there closed captioning? No.
I do enjoy technology. I really do. But you see, I am married to the original tech adopter.
Okay.
Everything. The major screens in this home with
Okay.
this burst of digital light. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like being in a movie theater, really.
Wow.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Because
And you can have wood screens in your home at all. So you have different levels of glasses. And you
Yes.
probably have all these glasses on your website,
Yes.
I take it, right? Okay,
Yes,
so
we do. We
the
do.
regular blue light
Yes.
during the day when you're working, right? I'm looking at your laptop or
Yes.
whatever you're
When I'm
doing, looking at your
working, yes.
phone. And then at night, you put on, what are they called again? The orange?
They're just
My orange glasses start like at about 6 o'clock or 7, whenever the sun sets.
Mhm.
Then I
Okay.
put on the orange glasses and they block
Yeah.
about 90. And then I have dark glasses that block 98%.
Oh, wow.
And that's hardcore. That's when
That's
I'm
hardcore.
watching the big TV at 9:30 at night. It's too much input.
yeah.
And also in our home, we use very low light level at night. And we try to do candles.
Oh, yeah.
And-
I'm a
and,
big candle fire person. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
And
the
I
more
do
the
this-
merrier.
I do the salt lamps, not because of the salt, because that really doesn't work. That's sort of a myth. You'd have to sit in a room full of salt for the benefit. But I love the salt lamps for the color, that
Yeah.
nice amber
The
color.
glow. Yeah.
Yes,
They have a beautiful amber glow.
It's not completely devoid of blue light, but so much of the blue light is gone. So that's how I
Yeah.
do it.
Does your husband Hal wear these glasses too?
Okay.
Hal's not here, so we can dish
And
on
I will,
Hal.
yes, and I will tell you the truth. Everyone loves the orange glasses. And there was a study done saying that the orange glasses actually do not help with eye strain. And I've got, 40 people that used to work in our office when we first discovered these orange glasses that were all wearing them that will tell you, oh my gosh, so much less eye strain. I put them on and my eyes just feel so relaxed.
Wow.
The study said no, but it feels so much more relaxing to have
Mhm.
less of the blue light in your eyes just on a daily basis while working on your computer. How do you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
feel with
And
them
we're all
right
on our
now?
computer. Yeah.
Don't you feel a sense of relief?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
relief now with these glasses. I know.
And
people
these are
can't
the ones
see
that we have that mine have a little tiny prescription in them too, like a little bit of a reading, but they're like a little bit of a yellowy,
I see that. Yeah, they're a little amber. Right.
a little amber, and they're not bright orange like August is talking about. If you've never seen them, and they're super stylish now. You can get the blue light blocking glasses in every color, shape, style. So this isn't like compromising your sense of fashion. And to be honest, this entire show isn't about compromising your tech either or your conveniences, because there's 3 of us here, including our producer, 4 of us who have made concerted efforts to reduce our exposures. I talked about opting out of smart meters, and there's so many other things that we're going to get into a little bit more. There are just so many things you can do to lessen your body burden and to lessen the stress that these electromagnetic radiation is putting on your body. So you're not going to go live in a bubble. You're not going to go live in a cave. Well, you can, but you don't have to. This is really about being smart, being proactive, and just taking baby steps, especially for your children, because they are the most susceptible. They're developing brains, their blood-brain barrier, and all of that. So just take that away today too, if nothing else, that this isn't about so extreme. This is just about turning that cell phone off. When you talked about people using their phone as an alarm,
Yes.
I can't tell you how many people I ask and I say, well, you have it on airplane mode, right? Oh, no, I leave it on. Why? Why would you leave your phone on when you're sleeping? Nobody needs to get a hold of you while you're sleeping. And you can still use the clock when your phone is on airplane mode. You can still use the alarm clock. So there's no need to have it on.
There's a little bit of blue light coming from the phone. That's the only drawback.
Yeah.
And
Not
they
for you,
found-
August, because you have your thick glasses on.
Is not,
August
no,
sleeps
not
in
in
her
bed, not sleeping with them. To really, really, really mind the blue light. And especially when you talk about children, the children, and these are the ones that I wear, they're wraparound orange glasses. I mean, they're super hot. They're so cute.
She's
And
the
that's
cutest
why-
little geeky person ever.
And I keep 8 pairs around the house, and people love to put them on when they come over and visit.
That's awesome.
People love it. And they just say, oh, this feels so good. And the reason why is because the blue light comes in from the top, the bottom, the sides. That's why you do the wraparounds.
Oh, gotcha.
If you
Okay.
really want the true effect of blocking the blue light, that's how it's really done when no one's watching.
Right, exactly. Don't be like us and get caught. Anyway, long story. We talked about at the top of the show. Don't get locked out of your house with those on.
You got to share this.
Like Ron and I did. So August, how would you describe EMF radiation to someone who is not familiar? They're like, what are you talking about? And what are the biggest secret culprits of EMF radiation in our homes? Where is this lurking?
You know how I really like to describe it? It's actually how someone first described it to me, because I was taking my meters and measuring and trying to figure it out. So on your phone and on most of your devices, there used to be just one antenna. So wherever the antennas are, think of it like a cigarette. And that's the tip of the cigarette. And from it, all of this invisible radiation, but think of the smoke like the invisible radiation, and it's flowing and it dissipates as you get further and further away from it. The smoke is still there, but it's less and less and less. So EMF is what powers all of our wireless devices. If there's wireless, there's an electromagnetic field along with that wireless energy. And it's how the antenna talks to the receiver. That's what the EMF is. And so the way that I like to think of it is that cigarette. And so the closer I get to that antenna, the worse off I'm going to be as far as being exposed to it. And, you know, you can't see it, smell it, or touch it. I know you guys say this all the time too. But the best thing that I believe about getting away from the EMF is distance. Because, say someone's smoking a cigarette and say you don't like that. Say that, oh my gosh, that I'm allergic to that. I just don't like the smell. So you know that the further you get away from that person, the less smoke you're going to be exposed to.
Inhaling. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
And so for listeners who aren't familiar, wireless radiation, which is coming from all of our wireless devices, does drop off with distance significantly, more so than you'd think, but it does penetrate walls and it does penetrate pretty much anything in your home. So if you're sleeping, like you had mentioned, August, earlier, someone who had the router under them at their desk,
I know.
that is going to obviously affect you more. But even if that router's on the other side of the wall and it's only an inch away, so distance. And even with Carrie from Safe Sleep, who we talked to, it's not that much distance that you really need sometimes. We used to hear 6 feet, but even putting your phone 10 inches away is better than it right there.
I absolutely do not carry my phone on me when it's on, for sure. Because even all of our manuals that come with our iPhones and our Androids tell us that in order to meet the safety standards, which you guys both know are not that great by our FCC,
They're like
in order to meet those safety standards, we're supposed to have it anywhere between 10 centimeters, basically it's about a half an inch.
A half an inch. Okay.
Yes. About a half an inch away from our bodies to even meet those safety standards.
Right.
So obviously we shouldn't be putting it in our pockets.
Yeah. And we talked about those safety standards too, were based on, I think, a 200-pound male.
Exactly.
So, not a baby, not a 5-year-old, and not a dainty person. So that's another factor. Yeah.
You're right about that.
We've gotten in the habit of doing airplane mode in addition to protective cases, but just getting in a habit, it's like just flicking that off whenever you're not using it. There's a lot of little things we can do.
Exactly. And also when you do put it on airplane mode, now you have to go to your settings and just ensure that your Bluetooth's off and the Wi-Fi's off. Because a lot of times the default is airplane mode just means you're stopping cell phone radiation.
Yeah.
And so we have to realize we've got a Wi-Fi antenna, we've got a Bluetooth antenna,
right?
And we've got a couple of cell phone antennas in every phone.
Yes. Excellent point, August. That is a great point. Turn that Bluetooth off. If you're in the car and you're driving, you've got your Bluetooth. It's the same thing. That's your wireless radiation, guys. How do you think this stuff's getting to you if there's no wire? Just anything that would normally require a wire that doesn't have it is wireless radiation, electromagnetic radiation.
Those are great tips to reduce exposure to EMF. Moving on to privacy, though, when it comes to online privacy, what should we be worried about, August?
Well, I love that question. You should be worried about everything you do and say and look at that you wouldn't want shared right now or anytime in the future online. Because once it's online, it's somewhere, honestly, you guys, almost forever.
Yeah.
And sometimes even the things that you're just thinking about doing and you think better of, those stay online as well. And what I mean by that is a few years ago, I discovered that my company was using the Google Vault. Our entire system was on Google. It's no longer. I use Proton Mail now, but our entire system was on Google. And our IT person, we were looking for a contract, and he said, oh, we'll just go into the vault. And I said, what's the vault? And then he showed me that for each person that had an account with us, everybody who had a Google account that worked with us, we could see every single email that not just that they had written, but every draft. So every second and a half, there was a save. So they'd be writing something they were thinking about. Then thought better of. Yes.
Wait, so how do they get into the Google Vault? I mean, it's a universal Google Vault that anyone can get into, and there's no security.
So when you have a paid account with Google, when it's your enterprise system, and most companies actually do work with Google. So it might say whatever the name of your company is, but it's probably got a Google interface. And Google has something in its enterprise system called the Vault. And the Vault saves every chat, every email, and which I think a lot of people would expect, right? You probably go, oh yeah, my company can see that. But I don't believe that most people understand that not only are the emails and the drafts saved, but even words that they type and then backspace and delete.
Oh, that's crazy.
Those are saved. And we found out the funniest thing. I mean, it was just, so I started showing everybody their vault. I said, you guys, look at this. Oh my gosh. Don't compose an email while you're emailing. Like think about it first and then compose.
Wow.
Yes, because.
Or don't use Google Vault.
Yes. And the thing is, you don't know for sure. And it's usually not under your control if you're employed by someone.
Okay.
So I think it's great if companies can move towards not spying. Especially.
Like, duh.
Yeah, right. That would be nice.
Hello.
But I have a video of showing everyone their vault and the faces and the things they say and the discovery of, oh my gosh. And one guy says, oh my gosh, wait, I haven't even sent that email yet.
Oh, wow.
And because he's looking, and you guys should watch the video because you see 45 drafts of one email all in lines. And I can go back, or whoever the administrator is,
right,
or the owner of the company can look.
It
felt like such an invasion of privacy for me to even look.
Yeah, right. Wow. Yeah, you feel like you're spying on your employees because you are. I mean, not you, but people. This is a big hot topic. And I have to say, August, I think when I first discovered you and your website, you were selling the creeper blockers, the stickers. Right,
and I still do.
And you still do. In fact, when we hang up, I need to order some because look, I have this
I'll give you some. Absolutely. Yes, please. A cute creep blocker. And because it's still one of the biggest hacks, Lisa, really, people are still hacking cameras.
If you haven't watched the movie Snowden, run, don't walk to Netflix and rent that movie. Oh my God, Snowden is so great. And it really shows you about how this all started and what's actually really going on with our privacy, with our tech privacy, I should say. So I don't know when I found out about that they could actually hijack your camera on your phone and watch you. And guys, have you ever picked up your phone and had the camera face to you? It's not pretty. So people can see that.
I agree with you, Lisa. That would be my number one deterrent. Just look down when you're not ready and go, hey, look.
Hey, I don't want anyone seeing that version. Okay, so you sell these stickers and you make them thick enough that you can't still see through.
Right.
And they're removable.
They're removable, reusable. Some people and I do have the little sliders. You can also
the sliders, that's what I like. See, I've used the sliders. Sometimes they break off, right, when you're phone around.
Exactly.
In fact, I have one on my computer right now, the slider. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, head over to techwellness.com.
I love the stickers because we have these little affirmation sayings and cute things that dance like no one's watching. And just
I love it. And you can when you have the creeper blocker.
That's right. You absolutely can. And really quickly, though, I want to tell you one thing about the creep blockers. They're also made, if you have a MacBook Pro or any MacBook, we have them to cover the microphone because they found that even when the microphone was quote unquote off and turned down, there's still the chance of it being recorded. And so but you can hear nothing when these stickers are applied to the speakers.
That's awesome. Wow. I love that you shared that. So guys, I mean, I know some people have never heard this before. What? Someone can actually hack into my phone and look at me through my camera? Yes. And they can listen through your microphone. And we know apps do that, right?
Absolutely. Apps do that.
Apps do that. And apps tell you they're going to do that. And you have to agree to those terms, right? I know Instagram, right? They just came out with some really severe kind of.
Right. They let us know. I have a big post on this and I did a video trying to explain to people. I broke down and I compared the old policy to the new policy. And actually, the big difference was when you ask us to delete your account, we might not. That's really what they said.
Oh, okay.
In so many words.
Right.
It used to be, hey, ask us to delete and we will delete your account. And now it's, we might not if someone's needing it, if it threatens someone in our community, if basically if you read the fine print, it's kind of if they feel like it, honestly. So
they kind of own that when you, I guess, when you join these
them
apps,
the rights to your, they
own your information. They own your photos. They own your messages. They own Facebook because that Facebook owns Instagram. I don't think any of the big tech companies are immune to this. And then going back to your laptop, your desktop, you also want those creeper blockers on that camera. And like you said, the microphone part. I know people will say to me, what's that on your phone? And I say, it's a creeper blocker. And they pretty much understand. But some people are like, what? They give you the look like, what? Why would you need that? Wow. Well, it's real. It's crazy. That's the ultra invasion of privacy. And we know Alexa and the smart hubs can listen to your conversations.
Oh my goodness. And then worse than that, this happened with Facebook and Amazon and Google. All three of them. There were news stories and they all admitted to it that they hired people to listen to the conversations that had been recorded.
I read that article.
All of them did. And, a few years ago, they introduced Talking Barbie, and there are a lot of tech toys now. And Talking Barbie back then, and I think she's off the market now because so many parents protested, but you could push her microphone and she would talk to you and you would talk to her. And they had men analyzing the conversations.
What?
And
how creepy.
It's so creepy. But we have to understand that anything that we say that goes to the cloud, we can't control. Who's going to listen to it? What's going to happen to it?
Yeah.
So we just have to be so mindful.
That's
and now also I believe Carnegie Mellon and an intern at Carnegie Mellon, when someone who worked at Facebook went through thousands of Facebook posts to find out who thought better of. So what they meant was who wrote something and then deleted it. And so I thought immediately, well, if they're doing that research and they can tell if somebody deleted something, then just like the vault, they can see what someone wrote and then deleted before they posted it.
That's crazy.
And so I talked to the intern, and the intern on the study said, who's now a research scientist, said, I want you to know, Facebook did not actually give us the words. They substituted characters for words, but we could see that some of the characters were backspaced and deleted. And if you wanted to know what the actual point of the study was, women did not think better of. Younger men were more apt to write something and then just backspace it off and not post it. Women, older women especially, didn't really care. Didn't think better of as much.
They just wrote it and put it out there.
Wrote it and posted it.
That's interesting. Okay, so women, you probably don't have that much hidden that someone's got to uncover. But going back to the smart hubs, this could be a whole show, because not only are they an invasion of privacy, and a lot of people don't realize that either, that, do you remember the story that, there's so many stories that have come out in the news, but the one where the couple was having the conversation about their wood floors and it literally connected to their friends who weren't nearby.
Yes.
And the friends are in their living room with their Alexa. Hearing the entire conversation of these two.
Yes. And I've heard so many stories, by the way, because people write me, they want to talk about these things. And this is a very common story.
Yeah.
And Alexa will say something when they're not even talking to Alexa, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, she's listening. Well, yes, she's listening.
She's listening.
Alexa is listening.
Yeah, it's true. And not only is she listening, she's emitting electromagnetic radiation. So people don't realize this is a Wi-Fi device too. This is a Wi-Fi device. So I encourage everyone to not use those, but some people are stubborn. And for the stubborn people, I say at least unplug. Don't just turn it off, because it could still, like we just talked about, our microphones can be hijacked and our cameras can. So unplug it.
And
if you're not
Thank you.
Yeah.
100%. Yes.
Unplug. And that goes for your router, your wireless router. If you use one, you need to be unplugging that. So this is all leading us to your incredible store, which is techwellness.com. And guys, they have incredible solutions on this website. Why don't you just give us a few of the products? We already talked about the creeper blockers. Tell us some of the things that you offer for home use and personal use.
Well, one of my favorites that you're sort of talking about is unplugging things and turning them off. So if you do have a Wi-Fi, please use my Wi-Fi kill switch. It's really inexpensive. It's just a remote that you plug the Wi-Fi into so that you don't have to get so close to that electromagnetic radiation that's much stronger at the source. So once you plug it in and you turn it on and off with the remote, at least you're away from it. And I recommend people don't get closer than 20 feet to their Wi-Fi router.
Okay.
I prefer 40 feet.
Yeah. And people are sleeping next to them.
Oh, so unplug them. So
They're in a lot of bedroom closets. Yeah.
Yes. So that's one of my favorites. Blue light blocking glasses. They're a mainstay. Absolutely.
Okay.
I love my styluses. I do. I absolutely do. Because you guys know that even if your phone is on airplane and you've got it connected with an adapter, also my favorite. So we use our phones with adapters. We do not use our phones wirelessly.
Oh, wow.
We can do everything except make a phone call. We use Signal for privacy.
Yeah.
So we can text on Signal so we can chat. We chat.
Yeah.
We can do video chats that look just like FaceTime.
So Signal is an app, right? So for
Signal
those
is an app.
Signal is like a Twitter / Telegram.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a communication app that's
Yeah.
guaranteed to be private.
It's
In
guaranteed.
fact, I love this. And Proton Mail.
I put a link.
Apple
Proton Mail.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we use Proton Mail and we use Signal, and we can use our devices while they're wired to the internet. And so still there's a little bit of magnetic energy. And you guys are amazing building biologists, so you know this. And I don't like to touch it because I'm so sensitive. So I use my stylus and I'm not subjected to any of the magnetic energy.
Wow.
And it keeps the screen clean. I'm going to send you some because they are so fun to use.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, gosh,
Love styluses.
we have a landline that we use. So that's our backup. And for those of you listening, you can get a landline, an emergency landline for $10 a month through your phone company. So you can have that landline if there is an emergency. There she goes.
Whoa.
There she goes. August is
all of
showing
our
us
glasses
her
on,
landline.
and we're all showing our landline
Yeah, we are.
phone.
We're the
Come on,
nerd
everybody.
group. We're the nerds. I love it. I love it. Hey, offices use them. I mean, everyone's like, oh, that's so old school. Well, they're in every office in America, pretty much. So get a landline, get the emergency line if you're on a budget for $10 a month. And that's all you need if there is an emergency. That way you can comfortably turn your phone off more often without feeling that angst.
And Lisa, they're more secure. They're safer.
Yeah.
And they function unlike your Wi-Fi all the time.
Yeah. You don't have to charge them.
Yes.
I should preface, not a cordless phone. Cordless phones are also Wi-Fi emitters. They're wireless when they're off the charger, right? So you definitely want a landline. And then I know you guys have the cases.
We have anti-radiation cases that are Faraday
Anti-radiation-
bags because I am so
Faraday.
sensitive. I can't even use any of those cases that we were talking about earlier that cover and divert the energy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times that diversion, it gets stronger. So I have to have my phone in a Faraday. Plus, I love that it's completely private. In fact, it even blocks the GPS signal. And your GPS
you know it's working
on your phone
You know it's working.
will always be on unless it's in a Faraday, by the way.
So the
It
Faraday
will
cage,
always be on.
can you use it when it's in the case?
You cannot.
Okay,
you
so that's
can-
just if you're carrying it.
Right.
Okay.
Just if I'm carrying it.
Yeah.
And most especially for privacy.
Yeah. Okay.
We're so ultimately tracked. And, you know, Apple's new update where you're asked if you want to be tracked.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's that new thing. Okay.
Yeah. I saw your Instagram story actually on it. That's where I got privy to it. So it's kind of a good thing you said because you get the option now to say no, whereas
To say
before.
no. And
right?
of course, I hope most people will because
Right, yeah.
why
Why
should
would you wanna
they?
be tracked?
Your phone has a identifying number and advertisers get that identifying number. They don't get your name. But if you go to an advertiser and you give them your name, then they have your identifier and your name and they share it.
Yeah.
And so this is a new
You're like
option.
a product. You're like a barcode.
You are the product.
You're a barcode to these manufacturers, which is really sad.
Yes.
Because people, and I know you've heard this, August, oh, but I don't care if they see my stuff. I have nothing to hide. I think that's one of the worst responses because you might not have anything to hide, but your privacy is yours. And unless
Exactly.
you gave your consent to the whole world to have it, that's yours. That's your privacy and it should remain that until you willingly give that out. So
It's a value.
it's a value. It's a human right to have your privacy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. August, this was so fantastic. I feel like we could have talked another couple hours, but we got to go and you have to go and the listeners probably need to go. But thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciated all your wisdom today, too. Thank you.
Oh, likewise. You're a wealth of knowledge. Friends, you can learn more by heading right now over to techwellness.com, where you can search the hundreds of articles and over 70 videos that are freely available to learn. And then you can shop for safe products. And that's techwellness.com. Stay tuned next week to find out what the heck is going on in your home. Bye, friends.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
This episode of the Healthy Home Hacks podcast has ended, but be sure to subscribe for more healthy living strategies and tactics to help you create the healthy home you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best content. See you on the next episode.